wife about her secretive behavior and considering divorce after catching her texting an old friend. I love my wife, and we have been together for 18 years, married for 12, and have 2 daughters together. Our relationship has always had communication issues, even from the beginning, but I love her more than anything. She has been depressed for the last year, maybe longer, but it has not been as bad as recently, due to her father dying in 2021, not feeling fulfilled with her accomplishments, her career, feeling unseen, and a lack of friends. She is in therapy dealing with her depression and past trauma. I am working harder than ever to make sure that she feels truly seen and heard by me. I play with our daughters, I cook, I clean, I take care of the bills and difficult life issues. I literally do everything I can for our family in all aspects. A little context. After our first child, we were only 19 and 20. She had postpartum depression and cheated on me with her ex. He was also a predator, as they dated when she was 16 and he was 30. We broke up on my birthday night after I saw them chatting at the bar, and we got back together 2 months later. She told me nothing happened, but they dated while we were apart. Years later, I found out they were together for a month or 2 before that. 6 years later, after we were married, I found out that she had been texting and emailing a different ex who lived across the country. She was also hiding this, and when confronted, she said, "We're just friends. That's why it didn't work between us, but we still like to talk." I decided to let it go, but later realized they were emotionally cheating, sending pictures, and having mail sent to her work so they could write letters to each other. Ironically, on my birthday, again that year, I checked our online phone bill and saw that they had texted 400 times that day. We talked about this, and she agreed to stop talking to him because it was affecting our marriage. She begged me not to request a printout of the texts. I don't even know if I could have, but I wish I had. Back to the present, she said that due to her depression, she wants some time and space, no romantic or physical intimacy. We still share a bed, but that's about it. I have had a friend for 20 years. He has been living in another country for the past approximately 13 years. And she has been friends with him for about 15 years, but they just share reels and memes. During her depression, they have gotten closer and started talking more, and she again is acting exactly the same as before. She changed her phone password, closes apps when I walk into the room, and turned off all online activity on all apps. She admitted that he said his therapist thinks he is flirting with her, and that they have a connection, and he is attracted to her. The way she lies is always only giving up the bare minimum details that she thinks she can get away with, and will only admit bad things if I have proof. There are a lot of other small things, but I think that it's time to end our marriage. This is too painful, and I don't trust her or believe her at all. Does anybody have a similar situation happen to them? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I think she has no respect for you, sadly, because you hardly have any for yourself. I do not know if she works or what her past trauma entails, but lots of people are depressed and have careers that did not pan out without resorting to cheating on their partners. I am pretty sure the first incident of cheating was a real betrayal. The fact that you took her back and do not make too much of a fuss gives her the go-ahead to continue. There is so much subterfuge and deception in her relationship with your boyfriend that I actually feel for you. They are so blatant. You need to stand up for yourself and ask her to choose whether she wants to play the field or be married. Personally, I would recommend you get your ducks in a row and leave. Sadly, no matter how much you love her, she loves cheating more than she loves you. Sorry, you also have to lose a friend, who is no friend of yours in truth. Comment 2. Fool me one time, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you. Fool me 3 times, forget the peace sign. Load the chopper, let it rain on you. She's only telling you parts of the story to make her guilt feel less or to show that she wasn't completely hiding it. She sounds aware, but unwilling to stop. If she can't respect the boundaries and can't give herself to the relationship the amount you need, it's okay to move on and look after yourself and your girls while she sorts herself out. It's unfair that she's sorting herself out while you're giving your all and your feelings aren't being considered. Now for the update. 2 days after my last post, I noticed my wife, Sarah, was spending more time on her phone while I was at home. One evening, I walked into the kitchen and caught her texting quickly. She locked her phone when I approached. I asked her who she was talking to, and she hesitated before saying it was just a group chat. That same night, I overheard her on a call in the living room, speaking softly and laughing. I didn't recognize the voice on the other end, which made me uneasy. The next day, Sarah asked if I could take the kids to her sister's birthday party without her. I agreed, thinking she needed space, but it felt strange she wouldn't join us. While at the party, I noticed Sarah's sister giving me worried glances. After a few hours, I asked her what was wrong, and she mentioned that Sarah seemed off lately. I brushed it off, focusing on the kids, but her words stuck with me. When I returned home, I found Sarah in a heated argument on the phone in our bedroom. I knocked on the door, and she quickly hung up, looking flustered. I asked her who she was talking to, and she snapped at me to stop prying. The next day, I decided to dig deeper and checked our shared computer for any unusual activity. I found a series of emails from her old friend, the one she reconnected with, which made my heart race. The emails were friendly but hinted at something more, discussing personal matters and old memories. I confronted Sarah about the emails, and she claimed they were just nostalgic chats. I told her that it felt inappropriate, and she got defensive, saying I was overreacting. A few days later, I noticed Sarah leaving the house frequently under the pretext of running errands. I followed her one afternoon to a nearby coffee shop, where I saw her meeting her old friend. They were sitting close together, laughing and sharing a plate of pastries. After she returned home, I confronted her about the meeting, and she admitted it happened, but insisted it was innocent. I told her I was uncomfortable with her spending time with him, given our past issues. She argued that I was being controlling and not trusting her, which led to a big argument. Later that week, I scheduled a family dinner to lighten the mood, inviting my parents over. During dinner, my dad casually asked us if we were going anywhere for the holidays. Sarah stayed quiet, and when I answered for her, she shot me a look that said she wasn't happy. After my parents left, we had another argument about her not wanting to take family trips anymore. I suggested a weekend getaway to reconnect, but she flat out refused, saying she needed time alone. The following day, I found her phone unlocked and saw a message from her friend saying he missed her. I drove to a nearby park and sat in my car for a while. When I returned, Sarah was waiting for me, looking anxious. She told me she was overwhelmed with everything. To my surprise, she agreed but insisted she needed to take a break from our intimacy. The next week, I found out she had plans to meet her old friend again. I decided to attend the therapy session alone. A few days later, I got a text from her friend asking if I was okay. I confronted Sarah about the text, and she finally admitted that her feelings were complicated. Mini update. Sarah confessed that her feelings for her old friend were complicated, leading to discussions about possibly ending our marriage. I also learned she was lying about the nature of their relationship.